Okay, so the next chapter in the anti-trans panic wave that's going on is the discourse around binders. So binders are this, basically a very tight kind of sports bra that kind of squeezes the breasts and makes them less prominent and makes it look like your chest is flatter, and it's gender affirming for trans men and boys who want to appear and feel more masculine, right? I mean, it's harmless, right? But a lot of transphobes are up in arms about this because they're comparing it to foot binding. A binder is not underwear, it's something that causes pain and injury to 97% of users. Injury. For mermaids to send these out to 13-year-old children behind parents' backs is a really clear indication of why mermaids needs to be shut down now. Okay, so they're saying mermaids, which I guess is a grooming or a trans affirming care provider, who they believe is a grooming service, right? Is sending out binders to young trans boys, teenagers. Yeah, 13-year-old children, that's pretty young. But it's part of this anti-trans, whole panic. Apparently you are harming teenage trans boys if you give them binders, but all those water and push-up bras that were okay, pushed on my generation as a teenager, and did painful things are a-okay. Yeah, this isn't about concern. Cause, yeah, what is a water push-up bra? Is it like, it has water in it, like in the pads of the bra? I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, so all sorts of things are painful, right? All sorts of, like, I don't know, beauty products are painful to use, right? Like the push-up bra, the wire bras, right? The underwire bras, they sort of like, I don't know, push your tits up and that's uncomfortable. There's like oh, and of course there's high heels. Yeah, this is all the ways that high heels are harmful. Stress on delicate midfoot bones. Oh yeah, because yeah, heels are weird, right? Because you're putting all the pressure on the big toe and like the balls of the foot, right? I don't know why. I guess heels are hot, but like shouldn't be like pushing it on them. Fractures, leg or back injuries from heel missteps. Ooh, yikes. Yeah, I've misstepped a few times on my heel, or not my heels, but like when I'm wearing like shoes with a little bit of platform to them, my foot will just turn sideways. I'll be afraid like, oh, did I just break my ankle? Did I just twist my ankle? But no, it was painful. But yeah, it must be even worse for heels, or it must be pretty hard for heels. Twisting tendon damage. Yeah, so there are all sorts of things that people do to feel more beautiful, particularly women. Like, there are corsets, right? I mean, that's not much of a thing anymore, but like, the corsets would like squeeze your figure into more of like an hourglass shape. And there's like foot binding, which was a thing, in China, I guess, a long time ago. It was like small feet were considered beautiful, which I don't really get. I mean, first of all, why do you care about feet so much that you're, yeah. Yeah, 14-year-old girl buys a padded bra to make her boobs look bigger, of course. But then the 14-year-old trans mask buys a binder to make their chest look flatter. What do you think you're doing? Excuse me, you can't do that. You're literally being abused. And we're gonna save you from being abused by telling you that your whole identity is invalid and you you shouldn't exist. Yeah. That's the fucked up part about this, is that the anti-grooming crowd thinks that they're saving kids, right? They think that the only way a kid can be gay or trans or non-binary is if they're groomed into it, which is just sick. It's just like a very thinly veiled attempt at just being like anti-gay, anti-whatever, anti-queer. They say, oh, I don't have a problem with gay people, of course, but I just don't want it being pushed on kids. It's like, so you don't want kids to be taught about gay stuff. You don't even want kids to be taught that being gay is a thing. That's kind of being anti-gay, and it's not a good way to hide it. You're not hiding it very well, sweetie. Your homophobia is showing, and it's not a good look, sweetie. It's kind of problematic, sweetie. 14-year-old gender-fluid teen swaps between padded bra and binder all the time. Society attempt to threaten a hospital with explosives. Yeah. Yeah, a binder is basically a very tight sports bra. I mean, there are already like all sorts of bras that like squeeze your breasts. Underwire push-up bras that are more uncomfortable than binders. Yeah. And of course, this is for kids. Binders are being sent to kids because they're too young to have their breasts removed, right? That's what transphobes are really offended by, right? Is the mastectomies. That's what Jordan Peterson got all mad about. He was like, Ellen/Elliot Page. I just mixed up the names. Ellen/Elliot Page just got her breasts removed by a criminal doctor. And then, all these transphobes are making it out like to be much worse than it really is. It's like saying that it's mutilation to get top surgery. It's like just tearing off the flesh of these innocent little children. And and they're just doing it for money. That's the kicker. It's like, oh, these trans doctors are grooming kids into wanting to be trans and wanting their breasts to be removed so they can make money by doing the procedures. It's like, yeah, I mean, they're making money, like, but like, if it's just so stupid. Like, do you think that they're like doing it just for money, or like they're convincing people to get this like cosmetic surgery just for money? It's extra dumb because so right-wingers will do this thing where they're like selectively anti-capitalist, right? We live in a capitalist society, right? We live in a society, and every job that people do, they do for money, right? Because money is like a motivating factor in all of our lives. So like, everybody makes money by doing something. In fact, making money by doing something is a sign that like what you're doing is worthwhile. People are paying you to do it. So that means that validates your value as a human being in this society, this sick society that we live in, right? So, and they'll say that that's a good thing, but whenever someone has a job that they don't like, they'll say, oh, they're just doing that for money. It's like, literally everyone does their job for money because we're capitalists, right? they'll say climate scientists are making up climate change just so they can get more funding. It's like, oh yeah, those rich climate scientists, those thousandaires, those 10,000aires, sitting in their swanky laboratories, their very well-funded labs in the basement of some university, right? or like in Antarctica. Right, studying the climate. It's like, yeah, sure. This person like became a specialist in trans affirming surgery just for money. It's like, do you really think that's such a lucrative business? That they're getting it just for the money? I mean, again, like, everyone does things for money. So, mermaids gives 13 to 14-year-olds chest binders even behind their parents' backs, for the same reason other services give them free condoms, contraceptive pills, and abortions, because teenagers have a right to make informed choices about their own bodies, and this is historically a feminist view, yes. Yeah, mermaids are trending. Yeah, all of this is like parents, like doting parents, like being shocked that like, oh, my child is not my property and I can't like control everything that they do. Yeah, again, these conservative parents are very controlling, right? They want to control all the aspects of their kids' lives. They want to dictate like what the kid like believes and like what they are in every way, and it's like, and it's like scary for them to think that, oh, my kid could end up gay, my kid could be trans. No, what a nightmare, right? My kid isn't exactly like me in every way. So these people, like, they're very like emotionally not mature. I mean, that goes to the root of like a lot of their problems, right? So that means they can't accept the fact that they can't control their kids entirely, right? And then, because they can't accept the fact and they're angry about it, and they can't deal with their anger in like a healthy way, they have to think of a way to like blame someone else, right? They have to take their anger, they have to find a target for their anger. Like, they're angry that their kid is gay or trans, and they don't want to take it out on the kid, because, like, sometimes they do, and that's why kids want to go behind their parents' backs, because they're afraid of the backlash that they'll get from their parents. But when the parents don't take it out on their kids, they take it out on the people that are grooming them, right? The ones that are grooming them into being gay. Yeah, go donate to mermaids if you want to. Surprised that you don't own your kids and you don't get to pick their sexuality, gender identity. It needs to be said in 2022. Yeah, it's the current year, and people still aren't progressive enough for me. This is terrible. This is a human rights violation, but really, it's like, you don't get to pick everything about your kid, right? It's sort of like the anti-autism movement, the Autism Speaks, is that the one that's run by like parents that are upset that their kids are neurodivergent, right? Their ads for like that are like anti-autism, they're like never like a concern about the well-being of the child, right? They're concerned about like, oh, how terrible it is to have a child with autism, right? It's never about like taking care of the kid or like ensuring that they have all the resources that they need to live a healthy, productive life. It's like, how do we cure the kid of autism instead of like, oh, how do we accommodate their autism, their differences? Yeah, really messed up stuff. These kinds of people will pick you a career too. My stepmother tried to do that. She was convinced up until I graduated from secondary school that computers were just a fad in human history. Oh, boomer. What a boomer thing to say. She was extremely transphobic and homophobic until Fidesz won. What changed her mind? Yeah, computers are just a fad. Yeah, right. Computers make like so many aspects of our lives easier. I mean, computers are literally thinking machines, right? How could you say like, oh, it's just a fad? Yeah, what a boomer. Yeah, they don't want to advance along with the world, so the world is going to leave them behind. Like all those boomers who still don't know how to use a computer. It's literally 2022. It's the current year and you still don't know how to like sign into Gmail. Really? So it's really a sense of entitlement, right? A lot of these conservative types, they really are the entitled ones. I mean, I guess there are entitled leftists, of course, but like, it seems like all their accusations of entitlement is really projection because they are entitled. They think they're entitled to a lot of things. They think they're entitled to everything about their child. Like they're entitled, they believe, to dictate everything about their child's life. They think, oh, because I created you, then you are my property. Then I created you, therefore you owe me your entire life. It's like, no, they are their own person. They have the right to live their life the way they want to live it. Yeah, it's harm reduction. Refusing teens contraception or abortion doesn't stop sex or pregnancy. Refusing advice on binders wouldn't stop dysphoria teens binding. It will lead to unsafe binding. Yeah, apparently, wanting to bind your breasts is like a natural urge for trans mask people, right? Because you just want to feel more masculine, and these like lumps of like soft fleshy flesh on your chest is like, it feels unnatural to you. It feels unnatural to look that feminine, so you don't want to do that. So if there aren't binders, if they don't have the safe binders, then they'll bind their breasts with like medical tape or something, which is actually dangerous and can actually lead to injuries. So it's like, this is like a safe version of that. Like, binders are meant to bind, and if they can't get binders, then trans masks will find ways to bind, like in other ways. Yeah, it's the same with the abortion argument. It's like, if there aren't safe abortions, then they'll get unsafe abortions. You can't just erase a kid's trans. It's better they learn to bind safely than other options that do cause permanent damage. Yeah. Yeah, if binders were actually harmful, then they wouldn't be just handed out, right? Like, if they were actually dangerous, they would at least come with like a warning label, right? Yeah, the reason that this exists is so is so that they don't actually hurt themselves by binding in some other way. Yeah, all of the issues they list are what happens when people don't use binders and instead you do DIY stuff with ace bandages. Yeah, binders are a good way to prevent those issues. Yeah, binders save lives and drastically reduce unnecessary psychological pain and physical pain, apparently. Yeah, and all this stuff about going behind parents' backs, it's like if you want them to ask their parents' permission, then you want them to out themselves to possibly transphobic parents. It's like, again, it's the parents that are abusing their child in this situation, right? They want to like take their anger out on like gender affirming people and like say that you're grooming my kid into being trans. It's like, no, dude, you're the one who is hurting your kid by like not accepting who they are. Right? Uh-oh. What is this person saying? If it doles out puberty blockers and binders, it will be destroyed. Is that a threat of violence? Are you saying it will be physically destroyed? Are you saying you're gonna bomb it? Like someone threatened to bomb the Boston Children's Hospital? Yeah, so anyway, what was I was talking about, the binders are used for younger kids because they're too young to have their top surgery, to have their breasts removed surgically, right? That was the whole issue with like all these transphobic influencers like Jordan Peterson or Matt Walsh, right? Who were like really offended by like the idea of top surgery. They're like, it's mutilation. You're mutilating them by chopping off their breasts. Yeah. It's of course you can't just go into a hospital and be like, oh, hey, I want you to cut off my breasts. Can you do that for me? It's like, it's a very long process. Like, surgery is at the end of like the gender affirming care. Like the process, the end of the process. First you do like social transition, then hormones, then surgery. So they say that they don't want people who are too young to get the surgery because, I don't know, they think that they'll change their mind if they get older. Again, it's very infantilizing, right? It's like, oh, these kids, they don't know what they want, and it's just a fad, they'll grow out of it, etc., which is, yeah. Again, like, these people are dumb, so, like, they assume that everyone else is as dumb as they are, right? So they assume, like, oh, I don't know what the fuck I want, so neither do these kids. I didn't know shit when I was that age, so there's no way these kids know anything, right? So they say they don't want kids who are too young to get the surgery, but like, that's what binders are for. If they can't get the surgery, then they need binders to have less, like, breasts just sticking out. Anyway, yeah. That wraps up the binder discourse for today, I think, right? Yeah, in conclusion, you don't own your kids. If you're parents and your kid's doing something you don't like, probably have a right to do that. And even if they are making a mistake, it's their right to like make mistakes and learn. Of course, if it's a big mistake, then it's like, you might want to do something. But if it's like they're gay or trans or something, or non-binary, then you gotta respect that. Yeah, TRAs are sending binders and hormones and transitioning kids socially behind their parents' backs. It's like, it's all these like behind their parents' backs. It's like, if your kid is transitioning and they don't want to tell you, then that's kind of on you for like making them not trust you, right? And maybe you should be more kind and understanding and accepting, and then they'll be more open with you. But no, they think anything their kid does, they have to approve of. It's very entitled, like, yeah, they think they're entitled to dictate every moment of their kids' lives, right? Like, even that lady we read about before, it's like, oh, we're going to plan out your career path even for you. It's like, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. Lay off. Let people live their lives. Okay.